Hi, good day. My name is Carlos and welcome back to my channel. And in this one, I'm going to share to you my standard deck when Ravnica Allegiance was released. And this is called the Gates deck. So right now, this is the final form before Throne of Eldraine was released. And I just got fascinated on this Gates deck. So it went well in tournaments. And right now, this is the final form of the deck. So unfortunately, there's a certain cards got banned because of its unhealthy meta back then. So it's okay. So at least I was able to maximize that card to its full potential. And just like and subscribe to my channel for further deck techs that I'm going to share to you during my tournament days, and some combos for the and other contents for the future. So let's start. Alright, so technically the deck revolves on the Field of the Dead card, and it has a gate shell components, if you will. And as you can see, there's also a ethereal absolution as a backup as well. So in a nutshell, just to keep it simple, once that I met the requirement of the Field of the Dead, it will create me a 2/2 zombie. And for the next turns that I'm playing a land, it will create now a 2/2 zombie creature. So just imagine if I have already 4 Field of the Deads on the battlefield. Once that I met their requirements, and when I play a land, set an expectation that I'll get a 4/2/2 black zombie creatures. And on its right side is the Ethereal Absolution, is something like a Anthem, something like a Elish Norn, if you're familiar with Elish Norn. So technically, this card is a mini Elish Norn. And you're wondering, it's 6 to cast. Well, it's okay because I have 28 lands, and I have some accelerants on the deck later on. So normally, 6 to cast is not that of a problem. Well, in Magic nowadays, technically 6 mana to cast are not that heavy. Well, it's still hard to cast, but it's not that hard back then during the early 2000s or the 1990s. So technically that 6 to cast is relatively easy to cast, and as you can see the land package, so I am able, to be honest, I am able to complete or make the Field of the Dead online. So actually there is a deck that plays around with it. It's Scape Shift Field of the Dead deck. Scape Shift Field of the Dead deck, something like that. However, I didn't create that deck because it's quite too expensive because of the shocklands and the lands. Because normally I have only a few, not necessarily few, but limited shocklands. So I just improvise, and I use the Gates shell. So that's it. That's for the first part of the deck. Alright, so we are now on the second part of the deck, and this is the Gates package and accelerants and some sweepers. So as you can see on the top of the picture, the Growth Spiral and the Circuitous Routes, those are the cards that will help us to accelerate and make the Field of the Dead, the 2/2 zombie thing, functional or operational or online, if you will. So as you can see, Growth Spiral, draw a card, play a land, and it's simple. I can execute it properly because I have 28 lands. So technically almost half of my deck is consists of lands. And Circuitous Routes, it looks for a basic land or a gate card. So when you search for a gate card, so just choose 2 different guild gates. You know what I mean? So just two separate guild cards. So instead of same copy, to accelerate the making the Field of the Dead online. And as you can see, I have Deafening Clarion that 3 damage. It serves as a early sweeper and a lifelink in the later game or latter game. So just imagine you have already plenty of zombies on the battlefield, and when you cast Deafening Clarion, you may just choose the lifelink part because it's just only choose one or both. So choose one, so make it lifelink and then swing. And then the Gates Ablaze, the sweeper. My ultimate sweeper technically, because I have 20 gates. So just imagine that. So, and for the Guild Summit, I run 4 copies of it because of its functionality. So no more introductions on that part. If you just read the ability, and that is a very efficient draw engine. And by the way, as you can see, circuitous route. If you have already make the Field of the Dead online, just imagine when you play 2 land cards, for each Field of the Dead in the battlefield, it will create 2 black zombie. So just imagine if you have already have 2 Field of the Dead or 4. So just imagine. So it's 8. So that's it. That's my sweepers, accelerant, gate packages, or whatever. And let's go to the next part. Alright, so we are now on the part 3 of the Gates deck, or the Field of the Gates, or Gates Field of the Deck or Dead. So as you can see, I run 4 Gate Colossus, 4 Archway Angel, and 2 Golos Tireless Pilgrim. So as you can see, I put the Guild Summit because I'm going to show you the mini combos inside of this deck. So we're now technically on the mini combos segment or portion. So as you can see, whenever you play a Gates card, draw a card, and whenever a Gates enters a battlefield under your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard on top of your library. So technically, whenever you play a Gate card, the Guild Gates, technically if Gate Colossus in the graveyard, for example, he was been destroyed or this was been discarded, you can just put him on the top of the library and draw it from your library to your card. So, and by the time technically you have lots of Gates deck. Remember, I have 20 Guild Gates or Gates card. So imagine, technically he's free, as you can see, technically, because it was 1 less to cast. And Gate Colossus can't be blocked by creatures with power of 2 or less. So what if there are 3/3, 4/4 creatures? So remember, on my first part, I have this card. So creatures you control gets +1/+1, and creatures your opponents control gets -1/-1. So technically, those 3/3 will become 2/2s. And if I have plenty of copies, or not necessarily plenty, but what if I've already a 2 Ethereal Absolution on the battlefield? So all of the 4/4s will become 2/2s because you have to minus it. So just to keep it simple, it also great synergy. So I'll repeat, what if I've already had 2 copies on the deck? So technically he is invincible. Not necessarily invincible that cannot be killed or something, but he is quite unblockable, or how should I say it? Reckoner? I don't know. Anyway, so for the Archway Angel, technically this is one of my lifesaver, because as you can see, whenever Archway Angels enter the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each gate you control. Remember, I have 20 gate lands on this deck. So imagine how many life I'm going to gain. And I have 4 copies of it. So it always saves me in the time of need. So for example, there are some situations that my life went to literally 1 for no reason. And at the time, I have already 8 gates. So technically, when this Archway Angel came in, it gains me around 16 life. Well, 16 life to be exact. So some of my friends in the tournaments, when we play in tournaments, told me that why you just don't use Hydroid Crisis or Hydroid Crisis, because, well, it's expensive at that time. Literally, it costs around $30, I think. So, you know, $30. So, and I need 4 copies. So, $120. So, for me, it's expensive. And I just prefer to use this because of the 2 life, and it synergies greatly on my Gates deck, and it's relatively affordable and it was able to synchronize or synergize well to my deck. And for Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, so normally, so if I need now the Field of the Dead because I'm already online and I need Field of the Dead, so I just use it to search for Field of the Dead so we can start swarming. So, and for the second ability of the Exile Tree card, it also works well with the deck. So sometimes if anything else happens, you can do that instant speed, or I think we'll just have to follow the sorcery instant rule. But because I forgot about that, because normally that second ability I rarely use that. So the main purpose of Golos is that to find the Field of the Dead if I've already online and the urgency needs it. So just 2 copies of it because normally I have a very strong drawing mechanism on my deck, so 2 is enough. So that's it. Alright, just for the sideboard, it's just quite simple, you know. Fry for anti-Teferi and Narset, Banefire for additional finisher, Plain White Celebration for just additional well, gain life, or as you can see there's tons of abilities, and Deafening Clarion for additional sweepers, planar cleansing, Golos, and mass manipulation. So normally that's my sideboard. So that's my sideboard. Alright, so that's it. So that's my deck, the Field of the Gates or Field of the Dead Gates deck, so whatever I felt naming it. So unfortunately, Field of the Dead had been banned on standard due to its unbalanced ability. So well, it's okay because I was able to maximize the usage of that card, because for what I remembered, it took about 2 months or about 2.5 months before it was officially banned in standard. And this card is also strong in Pioneer and Modern, that it was also banned on those formats. And I don't know if Legacy, if it is banned, because normally I don't play Legacy in Vintage, so I just play only Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. So well, that's life, you know. So good thing that I was able to maximize it, and it went well to the tournaments. And for the Scape Ship, because its original deck was should be Scape Ship, Field of the Dead. However, Scape Ship is quite expensive because of the mana base of the Shocklands and everything. And I prefer Gates because of the synergy between Guild Summit. So there you have it. So have a great and wonderful day, and subscribe to my channel for further contents on Magic the Gathering and other contents. So have a great and wonderful day, and thank you for watching.